Welcome to the first episode of Mental Health and Fitness, a philosophical journey. Over this series, we will explore how physical training is not just about muscles. It's a mirror for our inner lives, a practice that can lead to mental resilience, deeper understanding, and a more meaningful existence. Today, we start with the idea of voluntary hardship, the disciplined confrontation with discomfort, and how it maps onto some of the oldest wisdom and specifically the philosophy of Stoicism. Ultimately, the way we train our bodies shapes the way we face life's toughest challenges. Before we begin, a disclaimer that talking about a worldview or a philosophy is not adopting the idea or identifying with it. It's just to show how important it was, is, and will be, that also cultivating a rich spiritual or mental, let's say mental, not spiritual, life and a physical life is very important. So it's just to shed the light on these connections, and it's not an advice, as philosophy is never an advice on how to live your life, but on just showing what options we have, and whatever you want to choose, whatever works for you, that's what you should do. The idea of voluntary hardship is an interesting idea because voluntary is something you choose yourself. Hardship, you hardly choose for yourself hardship. You just bump into hardship. And my core ideas here are daily confrontation with discomfort. You willingly choose to confront hardship and discomfort daily. Discipline, you are willing to show up and to do repetitively something, and self-overcoming as a metaphor for life itself. Very nice quote that I don't know who said, but it is very nice, and it sums up what I'm trying to say is that mental health is not about the absence of disorder, but the presence of internal order. Very nice. How it reflects is that sports or training in general unites the body and mind in real time. You have to be present, and to be present you have to do an activity. And to draw also a parallel here, religious people, you cannot be religious unless you do a specific activity. You go to church, you pray a couple of times. Even if you call yourself religious, you're not until you do a specific activity repetitively. And there's a debate here on, is it the repetitiveness, is it the discipline? It's a big debate. But to go back to our subject here, you are choosing voluntary hardship, and this is an activity that you do, and this is what creates discipline. What you are actually cultivating by doing this is patience. You don't get strong overnight. You need to be patient to see results. You need to grind. Number 2, grit, which means when your body is saying stop, sending signals to your brain, okay, that's enough, don't push me anymore. And then you decide to keep pushing. That's grit. And number 3 is presence. You have to be present in order to actually train hard. So if you're listening to an audiobook or some kind of podcast in the back of your mind and barely listening to it, that's something. But if you're attentively listening to it, you try to understand what they're saying, you cannot train hard and listen and attentively at the same time. So this is what presence means, and you are completely present when you're doing an activity. You are not listening to the noise that is going in your mind that usually runs 24/7 unless you do a specific kind of activity. And as a coach, I will talk about what I know best, which is a physical activity. To the Stoics, virtue is a practice, imagining hardship in advance. Premeditatio malorum. Am I pronounced it correctly? Premeditatio malorum. Okay, so premeditation on malheur, on hardship. So this is the basic main idea of virtue as a practice. Virtue such as courage. You need to practice being courageous. No one is born Achilles. Discipline, you need to practice discipline. You need to slowly insert discipline into your life and slowly be a more disciplined human being. Endurance of hardship, and you cannot endure hardship in big amounts all of a sudden. You need to slowly prepare yourself to endure hardship. This is basically what the Stoics mean by virtue is a practice. One of the most famous Stoics is the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And he has a quote that says, I think he has a quote, allegedly he has a quote, but it serves what I'm trying to say, so I'll say it. You should stand up straight and not be kept straight by others. Great. This isn't here just about posture. It's about agency. So you should take control of your life in that sense. The obstacle in the way, your stress, your anxiety, your fear, your weakness, they become fuel in the gym or in any sport or physical activity you do. And that's a metaphor of your inner life. I will explain a little bit what does this quote mean, in my opinion, of course. When you push hard, when you're doing an exercise and you push yourself hard, you're training yourself to endure prolonged periods of hardship. So these, when the brain is saying stop and then you keep pushing, you're building resilience here. And by building this endurance of hardship and resilience, it can leak and contaminate other parts of your life. And the same is with weakness. Weakness as well can, if you're infected with weakness, it can really complicate and spread through other aspects of your life, and you lose control and you lose agency in that sense, and then you need other people to keep you straight. You cannot stand straight by yourself then, because weakness really creeped up on you and is kind of controlling many aspects of your life. Finally, from the title, let's deduce a summary from the title, Voluntary Hardship, is when we choose to face hardship in small or big doses, but to prepare ourselves for when we are faced in life with actual difficult situations, that we will be physically and mentally prepared because of this voluntary hardship that we chose to apply in our day-to-day life. And a take-home message from the Stoics is that virtue is a practice, and that's very important. They emphasize that nothing, or at least virtue, is not built in. You need to practice to become virtuous. You need to practice, put in the effort, show up, be disciplined, and all these things only come by practice. And thank you for watching this video. Now, next one will be about a concept from Aristotle, and the third one will be about the existentialists. And all these videos will be linked to fitness, and I hope they can illuminate a little bit your worldview, illuminate how you see discipline, how you see habit, and how you see sports. See you next time.